Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our briefing. We have a number of things to go over today because it's been a month since the last time we were here. But as usual, we will hear first from Public Health. We also have our Metro Director here, and then I have a whole bunch of things, opportunities, events, excitement going on in the city that I want to talk about. But we will start with Morgan Finke from Public Health.
Good morning. I'd like to begin with some data to help get us oriented to the full picture of the state of COVID right now in Dane County. The number of new cases continues to drop significantly. At our peak during the Omicron surge in mid-January, our 14-day average of cases was about 1,400. Now our 14-day average is 76 cases. Hospitalizations are also declining, with the average number of people hospitalized with COVID now sitting at about 51. That's the lowest we've seen since last August. I want to mention a change that you'll notice on our data dashboard later today. Our data team is updating the dashboard to include the CDC's new guidance for community levels of transmission. Based on the new metrics laid out by the CDC, Dane County is now in the low COVID-19 community level, which might make you wonder, we went from high to low transmission. How does that happen? The updated community levels looks at a combination of three metrics: COVID-19 admissions per 100,000 population in the past 7 days, the percent of staffed inpatient beds occupied by COVID-19 patients, and the total new COVID-19 cases per 100,000 population in the past 7 days. So you'll notice that these measures focus heavily on the impact on our healthcare system. Ultimately, that's an effort to prevent hospitals and our healthcare systems from becoming overwhelmed. Your next question might be, how does all this affect me? These levels, based on these very specific metrics, can help inform decisions and behavior as we move into this new phase of COVID and the pandemic. The CDC laid out a number of recommended behaviors, both for your family, yourself, and more community level strategies when a county is in a low, medium, and high level of transmission. And now those recommended behaviors may vary depending on your situation. For example, if you consider yourself at risk or if you spend time with someone who's at risk. Some examples include older people, people with weakened immune systems, and people who live or work with people who are at a greater risk of COVID. One common thread throughout all levels of guidance, staying up to date on your vaccinations. It is the most important thing all of us can do. I want to share some numbers in terms of vaccination to give you an idea of where Dane County stands in terms of being up to date. Including boosters and additional doses, an incredible 1.1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine has been administered in Dane County. 78% of Dane County residents have completed their initial series, and about 21% are fully vaccinated, but are not up to date. So please, if you're eligible, get your booster now. We continue to offer vaccination in a variety of locations, including the Alliant Energy Center, through our partners AMI Expeditionary Healthcare. One thing to point out, the hours of operation at that clinic have changed. It is now open Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. That's in addition to our East Washington and South Madison clinics, as well as our mobile vaccination clinics that continue. You can find full details with hours and appointment information at publichealthmdc.com/vax. A couple of other quick notes. You can now order your second round of COVID rapid tests to be delivered to your home. Households can order an additional 4 free at-home tests from the Postal Service at covidtests.gov. And a reminder, you can find all things at-home tests at publichealthmdc.com/home testing. If you have tested positive for COVID, you can expect us to reach out. We try to reach out to everyone who has a positive test, either over the phone or through text. If you do get a call or a text and want to verify its authenticity, we totally understand. There's a number you can call. It's 608-266-4821. And a reminder, it is spring break season for families, and if you're planning to travel internationally, be sure that you're familiar with the rules for vaccination, masking, and testing wherever you're heading, because they do tend to vary depending on the destination. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. I just want to emphasize again that call to stay up to date on your COVID-19 vaccinations. And if you need any information, please visit publichealthmdc.com/vax, V-A-X. We really need to make sure that we're keeping our community safe. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Justin Stuehrenberg, who's our Metro Transit General Manager. Justin?
Good morning. I'm here to talk today about the network redesign process that Metro is currently going through. First, just to understand the scale of this project, the network redesign really envisions a complete restructuring of the entire Metro Transit system. So it's not about changing a few routes here and there. It really is a complete rewrite of the system. And the intent behind the project is to improve the system through a couple different ways. One, reducing the waiting time by improving frequency, so how often the buses come. Two, making the buses more direct so that they loop through neighborhoods and you spend less time on the bus trying to get to where you're going. And then finally, simplifying the network so that it's much easier to understand, especially for people who may not ride it every day, make it less of a barrier to entry so that people can really understand how to use the system very quickly. The trade-off of this plan does require some additional walk for some people. And so with that, obviously there's a lot of pros and cons and trade-offs. And this plan that has been developed so far is a draft. We are going through a process now of outreach where we're meeting with many different groups, conducting online surveys and accepting public comment. And that will ultimately result in an amendment process that we make adjustments and amendments to that map before it goes to final adoption. The outreach process is going on now and will continue through April. The plans themselves, the draft network and other supporting documentation, as well as links to the online survey are out on our website at mymetrobus.com. They're also posted in all the Madison libraries. There's signs directing folks where to go on the bus as well. And then, anyone with questions can always call our phone number at 608-266-4466. Ultimately, after the end of April, once that outreach period comes to an end, we'll start the process with our board and committee and council process. That will continue through May and June. Included in that process will be a full public hearing, most likely at the end of May or early June, and with the goal of adopting a version of the plan with amendments in June of 2022. From there, we'll move forward into the implementation phase, which will be, the detailed scheduling of exactly what the times are for the routes, doing additional outreach to make sure that people understand what the plan means for them and how to use the new system, all leading to an eventual implementation in the summer of 2023. As always, please continue to consult our website, mymetrobus.com, our social media page. We also have on our website the ability to sign up for text alerts, or you can call in again to our number at 608-266-4466 and sign up for those text and or email alerts. And again, all of this information is on our website at mymetrobus.com. So, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. And I really do hope people will come to the public meetings and engage, check out the maps, think both about how your commute might be affected, but also the people around you, and what are the benefits and what are some of the challenges of the trade-offs that are represented in the draft maps. As Justin said, we're very much wanting to hear from the community so that we can amend those draft maps before it goes into the final approval process through the legislative process. So look forward to seeing folks at those meetings. I look at the maps from the point of view of my personal commute, and I think, oh, things are changing. I might have to walk a little farther. It's not going to be the same route that I would usually take, and that can be a little hard to contemplate, but I'm hopeful that it means system-wide we get a much more functional system, and that would be a huge benefit for our community. So really encourage people to engage with this project. All right, all sorts of things to talk about going on in Madison. First of all, I want to alert folks that there is another Town of Madison attachment public meeting scheduled for 6 p.m. on March 16th. That meeting will be both in English and in Spanish, so we'll have the simultaneous interpretation available, and will be streamed right here in the Madison Municipal Building in room 153 in English and in room 151 in Spanish for folks who don't have access to a digital device at home. You do need to pre-register, and the meeting is going to focus on redistricting, new addresses, snow removal, sewer, stormwater, and water utility impacts. For more information, you can visit cityofmadison.com/Town of Madison, all one word, Town of Madison. And just for those of you who are not tuned into this yet, the Town of Madison will be absorbed by the City of Madison and the City of Fitchburg on or before October 31st. So it's coming right up, and now's a good time to learn how it will impact you if you live in the town, or just to learn more about the process of that attachment. All right, starting on the 6th, our street department is out there doing spring cleanup. It may feel a little cold for spring cleanup, but it's that time of year. So starting on the 6th, the streets division was out with their street sweepers working overnight hours. So you may hear them out there at night. They are out there 16 hours a day collecting sand, salt, and other accumulated grit from our streets. Just a reminder that the sweepers can only collect what they have access to along the curb. So parked vehicles, trash and recycling carts, other things that are in the street can block the street sweepers from collecting what's in the gutter. And then it can be weeks until the crews rotate back through neighborhoods for another pass. So if you can please follow all of the posted parking restrictions and choose off-street parking options at night if you can. And also when you put your trash or recycling cart out, if you can put that up on the curb rather than in the gutter, that makes it easier for the sweepers to come by. For more information about sweeping operations and everything the Streets Division does, you can visit cityofmadison.com/streets. The Madison Police and Fire Commission is really asking for your feedback on the fire chief finalists. So the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners is soliciting input. They're hiring a new fire chief. Information on the 4 finalists is available at cityofmadison.com/PFC. That's cityofmadison.com/PFC. There are video statements from each candidate. And they should be up today. They might be up a little later today. They have to finish all the interviews and then get those videos posted. The public input is welcome at any of the regularly scheduled meetings of the PFC, or you can email pfc@cityofmadison.com. That's pfc@cityofmadison.com. The meeting on March 14th at 5:30 p.m. will be the final opportunity to speak to the commission before they make their decision. So make sure you get your input in before March 14th. And really encourage people to engage. It's sad that Chief Davis is retiring, but he's certainly earned it. And we hope to have a new chief that will be here for a good long time. So we're looking for public thoughts on who that should be. Some good news, we have gotten a grant that we are able to re-grant out to arts and culture organizations in our community. We also have a regular set of annual grants that we do for arts. We distribute funding to artists and nonprofit organizations through the Madison Arts Commission's annual grant programs. And you can apply for performances, exhibitions, events, arts education efforts, and individual artist fellowships. This year, we have a one-time opportunity for nonprofits or locally federally recognized tribes to apply for the Artists at Work grant, which supports salaries for creative workers in our economy. To learn more, visit cityofmadison.com/MAC. That's cityofmadison.com/MAC for Madison Arts Commission. If you are thinking of applying for any of these grants, the Arts Commission is absolutely happy to assist you. There is a virtual workshop that's posted on the grant webpage and that outlines the process and the guidelines, or you can receive personal assistance, one-on-one support from either a Madison Arts Commission staff person or volunteer by emailing madisonarts@cityofmadison.com. That's madisonarts@cityofmadison.com. The arts are hugely important to Madison and to our economy, so I really encourage any eligible organizations to apply for these grants and take advantage of this funding. Another opportunity for folks is to become an Aspire intern with the city. We are dedicated to creating a community where everyone is able to achieve economic success and social mobility. And so we have set up a program to boost student success and demystify city government work. And our Department of Civil Rights sponsors this program. It's the Affirmative Action Student Professionals in Residence, or ASPIRE, internships. It's a paid internship specifically available to current college students from an accredited university or two-year technical college. Students who have graduated within the past 2 years are also eligible to apply. So if you're a recent grad, don't hesitate. And these internships can really go somewhere. We currently employ at the city 7 former Aspire interns. So it's a great chance to get to know the city and to essentially interview for a potential job here as we have openings. It's a paid summer internship that lasts 8 to 10 weeks. Applications are available through March 20th. And this summer, we will be offering 16 internship positions. You can find out more on cityofmadison.com. Visit the Department of Civil Rights section. Another opportunity for a different set of people, the Lake Winona Waterfront Design Challenge has issued our request for qualifications. This is through our Parks Division, and we are looking to start this competition, which is to create a visionary, inclusive, and environmentally focused master plan for the Lake Winona Waterfront. It's 1.7 miles and 17 acres of our foremost public lakefront. The request for qualifications invites interested planning teams to submit their qualifications for consideration in the team selection process. And for more information, including the schedule, the guiding principles, the competition format, and the requirements, you can visit the Lake Winona Waterfront Design Challenge at cityofmadison.com/parks/projects/Lake Winona Waterfront Design Challenge. That's a lot, but it's pretty intuitive. All right, on to other things. I recently had the pleasure, speaking of parks, of attending the Ulbrick Botanical Gardens annual volunteer celebration. It was great to see folks who volunteer for the gardens. Through 2021, last year, we had almost 300,000 people visit Ulbrick Gardens, which is just a remarkable number. And that was only possible because of the work of volunteers. There were 421 volunteers who gave time throughout 2021. And of the 421 active volunteers, this is just a mind-blowing statistic, 68 have given at least 1,000 hours of service over their volunteer career, and some of them have given more than 9,000 hours of service. That is true dedication to our gardens. So I appreciate all of the Ulbrick volunteers and encourage you, if you're interested in the gardens and in plants, to think about volunteering at Ulbrick. They're always looking for more help. Turning to national news, you may have seen that the U.S. Department of Transportation announced the federal government's new comprehensive national roadway safety strategy, which is a roadmap for addressing the national crisis in roadway fatalities and serious injuries. Strategy is a first step at the national level in working towards the long-term goal of reaching zero roadway fatalities. I really want to thank Secretary Buttigieg and the U.S. DOT for creating this comprehensive approach to transportation safety and for calling on communities across the nation to reduce and eventually eliminate serious injuries and deaths on our streets. In Madison, through our Vision Zero work, we're committed to creating an environment where community feels safe on our streets when they're walking, biking, taking transit, or driving to anywhere they may need to go. In related news, Madison has officially joined the National League of Cities Safety First Challenge. This challenge aims to encourage 100 cities, towns, and villages nationwide to commit to focusing our efforts on a safety-first approach to decisions about design and transportation planning in our streets. And so participating in this safety challenge, it just strengthens our commitment to eliminating severe and fatal crashes in the city as part of our Vision Zero work, and helps to foster a safety culture by collaborating with other places across the nation. And so we're very excited to be a part of that. Another challenge that the City of Madison has joined is the U.S. Department of Energy's Better Climate Challenge. And so we were recognized by U.S. DOE for committing to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from our facilities by at least 50% within 10 years, and to work with DOE to share successful solutions and decarbonization strategies. As one of the partners in the Better Climate Challenge, we're one of more than 80 organizations across the United States. And these are not just cities. They're also Fortune 500 companies. There are other educational institutions, a whole different range of types of agencies that are participating. And they are all stepping up to the challenge to drive real-world action towards a low-carbon future, which is critical for the city and for an entire world. So to reach our emissions goal, we're going to continue and accelerate our work to improve energy efficiency in our buildings, to pursue building and transportation electrification even more than we already are, and to grow the number of solar energy installations on city properties. I'm really proud to say that we already have installed more than 1.3 megawatts of solar capacity, which is providing carbon-free electricity to power our city operations. Also good news, we have received a $3.5 million grant from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to support the replacement of the Troy Drive Railroad Bridge. This is very exciting. We're going to be able to really improve safety and comfort of this bridge, increase access to the neighborhoods on either side of it. I'm really grateful to Secretary Thompson and to Governor Evers for investing in this important project. It's going to be a much safer and much more practical and user-friendly intersection once we implement the changes. And I really want to thank District 18 Alder Charles Miadze for his support and his advocacy for this project. He's been working on it since he got elected, and I'm really glad that we're able to fund this project and get it done. I also want to share that Madison's Poet Laureate, Angela Trudell Vasquez, will serve as the Poet in Residence at Madison Public Library this month through May of this year. She's going to be offering all sorts of different programs for all ages of folks, workshops that will cater to adults, teens, youth, and families that will be hosted at various library locations across the city. She's also worked with our bubbler at the library to offer poetry maker kits that are available for pickup at every library. Each kit contains art supplies to help you respond to one of her poems. And the kits are for all ages, and you can pick them up at any library through mid-March. So encourage people to go out, particularly if you have kids, visit your library, pick up one of these kits, and have some fun with it. Also, as part of National Poetry Month, did you know that National Poetry Month is April? We will have a virtual workshop series aimed at older adults with a focus on storytelling through poetry. These sessions will take place on Fridays in April from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. and are led by our former Madison Poet Laureate, Fabu. And the Madison Public Library is going to continue to celebrate National Poetry Month by posting a poem a day online throughout the entire month of April. So stay tuned for that and check out the library website for more information on all of these great poetry-related events. Speaking of months and weeks, this is Women in Construction Week. Right now, we're in the middle of it. And our engineering division, in partnership with the Parks Division, the Water Utility, Traffic Engineering, and more, is highlighting the work of women in the construction industry that work for the City of Madison. There's a great group of women that are being highlighted this year, and I encourage you to check out our social media to learn more about them and their stories. And perhaps you know a woman who might be interested in getting into a construction-related career, and all this information is a resource for them. City of Madison is always looking to hire women into underrepresented careers like construction. Speaking of engineering, last and certainly not least, I have incredibly mixed feelings to tell you that our city engineer, Robert Phillips, is retiring after 33 years of service to the City of Madison. He'll be leaving us at the end of April for a very well-earned retirement. His work has left an incredible legacy of infrastructure in our city. He's provided really steady and conscientious guidance to the engineering division and to all of Public Works through his role as Public Works Director, and has been really instrumental in many citywide projects. I'm going to miss Rob. I'm going to miss his experience, his expertise, but also his wry sense of humor and his incredible level-headed attitude and leadership. We will be conducting a nationwide search for a new city engineer, and in the meantime, Engineering Division Deputy Division Manager Kathy Cryan will serve as interim manager for the Engineering Division. So congratulations to Rob on his retirement. We really are going to miss him. A few notes on community resources. If your family is in need of food or housing or other social services in our community, please connect with United Way through 211. You can simply pick up the phone and call 211, or you can text your zip code to 898-211 to get connected to resources in our community. If you need access to the internet or to computers to do research or to connect with resources in our community, our libraries have computers that you can make an appointment to use. Just call 608-266-6300. We post all of the information that we talk about here on the city's website. Much of it is covered in my blog. You can visit cityofmadison.com/mayor/blog. And you can also sign up to get regular emails from us. Finally, as I always do, I'll end with some upcoming meetings that might be of interest to the community. More information and a full listing of all of the city meetings is on our website, cityofmadison.com. This Thursday, today, at 2:30, the Sustainable Madison Committee will meet. On Monday the 14th at 5, the Transportation Policy and Planning Board. And at 5:30, the Police and Fire Commission meets. That's your last chance to give input on the fire chief hiring process. On Wednesday, the 16th at 5, the Economic Development Committee meets. On Thursday, the 17th at 5, the Landlord and Tenant Issues Committee will meet. Monday, the 21st at 5:30, Plan Commission meets. And Tuesday, the 22nd at 4:30, the Water Utility Board will meet. I also want to note that we did have a Common Council meeting scheduled for the 15th. That meeting has been canceled due to lack of quorum. So please don't expect the council to be meeting until later on this month. That's what I've got. Thank you for your attention, and let's see if we have any questions.
Indeed, we have one question for you, Mayor. And the question is, was there input from the alders who oversee the district where the proposed men's shelter is going? What was the process to include them in discussions when choosing a proposed site?
That's a good question. Yes, of course there was input, not just from the alders of those districts, but from many alders over a very long period of time. We've been searching for a site for a permanent purpose-built men's shelter for some time now, thanks in part to the council's decision to delay moving forward on this, which is unfortunate, cost us a year. But nonetheless, here we are. And during that entire time, we've been talking with alders, both formally and informally. And most importantly, all of the relevant alders had a significant amount of input in a closed session maybe multiple closed sessions at Finance Committee to discuss many of the sites that we were considering. What I heard in that closed session greatly influenced our decision on where to site this purpose-built men's shelter in the long term, and also what to do about the temporary shelters that we will need until this site is fully ready, constructed, and ready to open its doors. So the alders have had multiple chances to weigh in on this decision process and to give their feedback and input. They will continue to have multiple chances to do so. We'll be introducing a resolution to council soon that selects this site and, if adopted, would instruct staff to move forward into choosing an architect and engineer, and also into choosing an operator. After that, we will have an extensive public input process to talk about what services should be available at this site, what the design of the building should look like, what the design of the site should look like, and plenty of opportunities for both the council and the public to weigh in. In fact, my staff have already reached out to the impacted districts to work together with them on hosting public meetings, both on the permanent site at Bertillon Drive and also on the temporary site on Zaire Drive. So this is just the beginning of a very long process. This is Madison. We know that we like to go through processes when we make decisions. So we're just at the beginning of a very long process, and I find it frankly surprising that alders are acting like they don't know that there's a long process ahead of us, and that there'll be plenty of opportunities for them and all of our constituents to weigh in.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, that's what we have for today.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Stay warm out there, and we will see you next time.